Well, hello. You know who I am? I'm the captain from Andertons, and I'm joined today by the legend that is Peter from Westside, who are the guys in the UK that bring in Martin. So he's kind of the official Martin demonstrator guy for the UK.
Hello.
And we thought we'd grab some of the more sort of higher end Martin guitars that have come through Andertons over the last few months, and have a little play. So we've got, what have we got here?
We've got the 0042 Stagecoach John Mayer signature model, which is a beautiful little 00 size guitar with Coco Bolo back and sides and a spruce top here. Nice 42 styles, logos and stuff. They did the 45.
Right.
Which was a limited edition it was limited to 28 or 25, and you know they went quicker than you could say. Stop that train.
John Mayer.
Yeah.
Oh, stop that train.
Stop that train. Yeah. And so you know people still wanted to get one. So now this is more affordable.
Relative term, that one.
You know, it's more affordable than the other one was. Let's say that. You know, but it is a beautiful guitar. The rosette is amazing. It goes in the inlays into the.
That's stunning, isn't it?
Don't know if you can see that into the fretboard. It's a beautiful little guitar, basically. And
you're saying this is a really wide fretboard, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 1/7/8. So it's like a I would say like a nylon classical guitar. So it is quite wide.
Is there a V on the back, or
there is a modified V on the back, and you've got the slotted headstock as well here. So that of course gives you more string to wood contact because it's.
Oh, I see.
You know, the neck goes through the neck, so which means there is more sort of room for that.
So would you say this is more of a finger picker's guitar than a strummer's guitar?
Yeah, it's probably, you know, I was picking a bit before, and I think that's what it's great for, because it is a wide fingerboard, so you can get your fingers in there. And it sounds lovely and soft.
And it's a 12th fret body
12
joint
fret
as well.
Body joint, yeah, which is, you know, they used to, this is what they made back in the day, long time ago. You know, they've made guitars for 180 years this year, which is amazing in itself. I think that's an achievement, having a company that's run by the same family. Yeah. As you know,
yeah, that's true. We're only 130 years behind.
Yeah. So you got some time to go, you know. But so I think it's quite an achievement, and they make some beautiful instruments, you know.
It's quite, because it's interesting, because again, even the bridge is actually quite near the back of the guitar, isn't it? And as you say, the 12th fret join just means you've got sort of limited fret access. Guitar. But I guess a lot of the neck is then over the body.
Yeah, it's a small guitar. You know, they used to take it on stagecoaches and stuff. That's hence the name. You know, take it to traveling. And I've seen John Mayer, you know, on his Instagram adventures. He's got the essentials. You know, he'll have that lying down, but he's 45. Serial number 1, you know. Of course. So that he takes it everywhere and he plays on it, and he's played on the.
Give us a little. I mean, if I'll play something. Oh no, you do that. Go on.
So you know, it is the, you know, you can't play John Mayer on anything else but a Martin can. So on and so forth. But it does sound beautiful.
And is it true that the only reason that John Mayer's such a hit with the ladies is because he plays Martin guitars?
He plays Martin guitars.
See?
Yeah, you heard it here first.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Well, that's a stunner, and we'll have a little bit of a jam around with that, but in a moment. But do you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, this is the Clapton Crossroads series. So they've made 75 of these for America. And they made 75 for the rest of the world, and this is Madagascar rosewood back and sides, and it's a Carpathian spruce top, which the name's told us. It's his, you know, Triblo 28 EC model, but for his Charity Crossroads.
Yeah.
So, you know, an amazing guitar as well. You know, beautiful.
And that again,
fingerboard.
It's a slightly narrow. It's quite a bit narrower than this one at the nut, isn't it? But actually, it's still probably wider than a.
Yeah, it's 1 3/4, and it's got a modified V-neck as well. And this is a lacquered neck. That's a lacquered neck as well. You know, Martin, they do on the OM28V has got a satin finish neck, so it's a different feel. Some people prefer the satin, some people prefer the lacquered. Clapton, of course, being his signature, he prefers this. So that's why he's got that.
I've always liked on the Clapton. He puts this sort of tint on the wood,
An
doesn't he,
eighth
just to
toner.
give it an age.
Yeah.
And it looks classy.
It looks
doesn't
amazing, you know.
Lovely scratch plate as well, the sort of swirly tortoiseshell fake kind of thing.
Beautiful wood as well.
And that's what you said, it's Madagascan rosewood.
Madagascan rosewood, yeah. That cogobolo and that guitar there is from Mexico and South America, and tonally I think it's quite like Brazilian rosewood actually. It's probably the closest one.
And this is the problem, is it? Because Brazilian rosewood is now illegal to use.
Yeah,
so
well, they still, you know, Martin still has some, and they still make the.
So it's illegal to harvest any new stuff. So you have to have old stocks of it. Do you?
Yeah, and it has, you know, 1969 they stopped
as far back
making you know.
But as in chopping
down.
Yeah,
you can't get it here, so it's a nightmare.
Oh, that's true, because that even though the rosewood ones of these, the Brazilian rosewood ones of these, sorry, did get made.
You can buy them in America.
They were illegal to import into the UK, weren't they?
They'll take them and destroy them, which is a sin. Yeah, if they catch them in the airport. Yeah, so I wouldn't try.
Yeah,
you know, it's not worth it.
This is what this whole thing about instruments having to have a passport is now, aren't they? I know it sounds like a joke.
Yeah,
guitars are supposed to have like their own passports, so that when you're going through borders, you can sort of prove that you're not breaking the law.
Yeah, or it's not a vintage, or you know, or if it is a Brazilian rosewood guitar from.
So let's hear.
69.
Hang on. Let's wait for the sandwich van to go. I did promise I'd run outside and smash the sandwich man around the face with one of these guitars if he did it in the middle of something really tasty that Peter was playing.
And so on.
That sounds to me more, modern sounding almost in a way. It's got a bigger bass end, more reminiscent of perhaps a larger size guitar. This is super honky in the mid range, isn't it?
It's a different style guitar, and they'll sound different because the bracing would be slightly different inside. It's a smaller top, and the neck is wider.
If any of you eagle-eyed people are sort of going, "There's a hole in the end of all your guitars."
Yeah. Martin, they don't ship the guitars with the peck in the end here, in case they get a knock or something. So that's just how the way they do it. They come in a case, and then you can pop them in yourself. Some people might want to put a microphone in it. They might want to put a pickup here. So it's easy to do. You don't have to take it out, and so.
Cool. But so you get the get the end pin with it, and you just force your thumb, just pop it in.
You just do it slowly, and because it's nice for the guitar to acclimatise when it gets to a new country. It's UK. You know what the UK is like. It's quite wet at the moment. It's the sun's coming out, and then it might get dry. So you never know really. So
you just want to
leave it in the case. Take it home. Leave it in the case a little bit, and just let it acclimatise to your house.
When you say a little bit, what do you mean? Like a week, an hour?
Well, you can take it out, but personally, I always put my guitars back in the case when I'm finished with them. It's beautiful instruments to have hanging around, but it's probably, I like just putting them back in the case.
And you can buy those kind of
humidifier
things, can't you?
You put them in the string goes in, and they keep the guitar
because that's
humid.
Really. I mean, again, I think we're quite lucky in the UK. It's a relatively temperate sort of country. We don't have these humongous swings.
Yeah.
But certainly, if you get a very cold, very dry winter, the air can dry out quite substantially.
Yeah.
It's not a problem if you're in a centrally heated. Well, I say that. I think anybody with a nice acoustic guitar, the little humidifier packs are 20 quid, 30 quid, something like that. It's it's a great way to save your really expensive
But in your skin
investment.
as well, when you have the heating on a lot in your house, the central heating, your skin goes all dry. It's something living. It's a living thing.
So jam over the. Beautiful. There you go. A little bit of
like that,
I mean, these are your ultimate. We'll just wait for the sound man to go again. If any of you can recommend a good explosives expert, and I can buy one of those little things that you see on, 24 or Homeland or whatever. Those are the devices where magnetically I can just pop it underneath the car,
Give
and
it
as
a
he
call.
drives out the end, the whole van blows up and no one would know it was me. Could you send me one, please, so I can put it on the sandwich van? Thanks. I mean, I must admit, I'm a huge fan of kind of these slightly smaller acoustic guitars. And I kind of call them, they're like the ultimate armchair companion, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
That sort of, not too big, so you can sit on the chair, kind of just noodle away.
They're very popular at the moment. As you know, acoustic guitars at the moment are very popular, you know, and people like to take them everywhere. You know, people like Ed Sheeran with the LX1, and so that is a great size guitar. I know it's a bit dear, but you know, there's a lot of people that likes having these things, and they're beautiful. You know, they're amazingly crafted instruments. It's not just a guitar. When you look at Martin's history and Martin's achievements, you buy. You know, it's almost like you're buying into a piece of history as well. Which,
you definitely are.
You know, it's you with the bracing in 1840, and you met Diane, and
she's amazing.
She's amazing. She really is amazing, and it's a family. Martin is the company. It's a family-run business still, and has been.
Well, I met
for
Chris
100 years.
Martin. I met you know, not of Coldplay, of Martin, obviously. And I must admit, you know, here's a guy who's you know, is he 6th or 7th generation or something like that in his family business, and. Yeah, just so still super passionate about.
It's amazing the passion. His daughter is Claire Frances Martin, CF Martin. So you know, and I met her as well, and nice. She's gonna eventually take the company over if she wants to, you know. Yeah. But she's got the name for it anyway. So it's amazing for 180 years, and you know they make some amazing instruments. And it's not, you know, it's a big workshop basically. It's not factory, you know. It's still 350, 400 people working there, and everybody that makes these guitars will also make a D18 or a 0015 or.
Let's talk. We've talked about their heritage a bit.
Yeah.
And we bought a couple of guitars that were released, I think, last year from a series called the Authentic series. Yeah. So. Before we go into the specifics of the models we've got here, these are from a series called the Authentic series. Yeah. So kind of what was the thought process behind it?
You know, they've basically taken the original on guitars. That's the 33 and that's the 41, and you're
talking about the year now.
The year now. I'm taking the year. So they're taking the original on guitars actually and put them in a CAT scan. You know, so they scanned them and these guitars have got no truss rods in them. You know, they're made with horsehide glue construction and you know, Adirondack spruce top and Madagascar rosewood back side. This is mahogany. As they were, so it was the you know, it's got a stamp on the back here. So it was making the guitars.
So what's the deal then with no truss rod?
They didn't have truss rods till.
I know because my 72 D35 has no truss rod. Yeah. But of course, so if the neck ever goes, you've just got to you've got to take it somewhere with a proper heat press reset.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which could be, you know, it's a bit.
I mean, just in case you're worried about that. Most good guitar stores can do that for you. Obviously, and it's not the sort of thing that's happening. You know, you haven't got to do it every 6 months or anything like that. It's,
no. It doesn't. You know, it should stay as it is. As you know, you've got an open one, so you know, once it's set up.
I think it was more that I remember Diane was telling me the truss rods were introduced as guitarists began to tour more. So, you know, as you had guitar players going, I'm doing 6 weeks in the States and then I'm flying to, you know, Japan to do 2 weeks and then I'm doing a tour of Europe. Yeah. You know, and the guitar was being put through every kind of humidity and you know, and techs needed to be able to go, right, I'll just literally keep adjusting this all the time.
Yeah, give it a bit of.
But if you buy your guitar and you basically live in England, it should be fine.
It's fine. Yeah, these guitars are brilliant. They are, you know, amazingly well made as well. You know, it's the same thing.
So, and there are 4 or 5 models, I think, in the Authentic range, aren't there? Yeah. So, again, based on Martin buying a specific guitar from a specific year and going, right, we'll recreate
that exactly as it was. You know, so some of them have got a rearward shifted bracing, and some of them forward shifted, and the horsehide glue construction is amazing. You know, because it's a natural thing. You know.
That's mad.
It is. It's a passion, you know. Yeah.
And give us a strum on. So what have you? You've got the 000.
That's the OM.
OM, sorry.
Yeah, and that's a 33. Yeah. So you know, with a spruce top and the burst.
the three that we've tried so far,
beautiful.
that's the most balanced.
It's got a great tone.
It's
really has a great tone. It's got the V-neck as well, so the modified V. So you feel that. It's a bigger neck.
I mean, I've got much more traditional sort of C shape on mine, whereas that's got quite a heavy V down.
Yeah, but these are all hand carved. You know, that's the amazing thing as well. So you got the guy that actually carves the neck out, you know, and as you're saying, with traveling a lot, that's why the Stradibond necks and the T-bar guitars are great. They're great for touring musicians, and that's why they're so popular as well.
Yeah.
I used them myself to take around with me because
that's when you see manufacturers making guitars out of essentially several pieces of wood. It's not necessarily a cost-cutting thing, although again that's one of the potential benefits. But yeah, they just don't move so much, do they?
Yeah.
It's just,
and you've got dovetail neck joints as well, which is, you know, it all moves. It's all wood. It's all alive, so it will move. You know, and that's the beauty of it. That's why these guitars sing so beautifully.
Give us play a bit more on that one, because I'm interested to kind of hear some different styles. And
we're going to do a bit of John Mayer on it as well. He does that. So it's just a lovely guitar. It's beautiful as well, isn't it?
Yeah, the bursts are lovely on those.
Yeah,
I like the fact that they don't go too dark around the edges. You know,
Yeah.
it's just a real.
Yeah, they're coming out with the new models coming out as well. They're doing bursts, and again, because
You can so kind of see, like, your great granddad or whatever it is, your granddad in 1933, and down to the you know.
he bought his guitar and he's been sitting there with that out on the porch, you know,
Yeah.
playing these guitars. They are really, you know, it's a special guitar. I really think it is.
Yeah.
And you know, me starting with Westside and starting with the Martin, didn't really know much about them before, but reading the history on the books, and you just get sucked into this history of the whole thing is just amazing.
That's why I think Diane's such a great person.
Diane
to
is
spend,
amazing.
You know, like, an evening with, because she is like a.
And she's so passionate about it as well, which just rubs off on people.
Okay, so last one, which is obviously a D28.
Yeah.
From 1941.
Yeah.
Insane.
With your.
You would think, wouldn't you, that around about that time Martin would have had better, you know, more. I would have thought they'd been making boats and guns, but no, they thought we'll make some.
You make some guitars, but it's amazing. You know, 2 world wars they've gone through. You know, and they did make little jewelry boxes and stuff during the Depression to keep the company going, and they had to buy a D45 back to the museum as well. I don't know if Diane told you that story, and you know, because they had to sell everything they made. From 36 to D45, you know, so they had to buy one back, and it was $380,000, you know, buying one back from to display in the museum, and they had to sell it to survive. So, you know, you can imagine.
Now the Dreadnought as well. This is kind of, I mean,
the Dreadnought.
This is probably what you would consider now as the sort of the eponymous kind of modern shape
acoustic guitar. Which they invented, and it's named after the biggest British battleship.
Yeah, HMS Dreadnought.
Exactly, and it's the most copied guitar in the world.
And I think this was born out of a time where guitar players were playing in front of slightly bigger crowds and perhaps in bands with more musicians.
Yeah.
And they wanted a more powerful.
More powerful. That started with Perry Bechtel in 1920s, where he was a banjo player and guitar player, so the Steve Vai of the day, you might say. You know what I mean? But he was playing like an orchestra with 10 banjos and 10 mandolin. You know. That's loud, and he wanted to play these guitars. So he went to Martin and said, "Can you make me like a guitar with more sound coming out of it?" And they had the biggest. They had the triple O at that point. That was the biggest one. So they said, "Can you put the neck on the 14th fret, so make the banjo sort of along a scale length, and can you put steel strings on it, and can you know?" So they were like forward shifted, scallop the bracings, and then, you know, that's. You know, that's most of the guitars today, you know, and that sort of then went into this in the 30s, and then they called it a Dreadnought, you know, and it's just an amazing guitar. This is Madagascan
Madagascan again,
backsides and an ebony neck, you know. It's just beautiful craftsmanship, it really is.
Yeah. Let's give that one a quick strum, and I guess in terms of styles now,
this is you've got your. trying with my hands. I can try with a pick as well.
It's almost got like a 12-string kind. It's so big.
Everybody can play a D and a C and a G, but it picks actually makes a huge difference in the sound of the guitar. So, as you can hear, you know what I mean? That's the same thing, but that sounds so much different because of the size of it.
I sometimes think as well, you know, as a guitar player, I kind of see. I don't think it's weird to have 10 different electric guitars, and I think, you know, I'll have a Strat and a Tele and a Les Paul, and, you know, and different.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Sometimes on acoustic guitars, I kind of almost sort of think that seems a bit more alien to have lots of different acoustic guitars.
Yeah.
But actually, when you go through a range like a Martin range, you kind of think, well, they're all different.
You know, so there's a reason why they make so many different ones. That is, you know, dreadnought shape, double O shape, triple O shape, O shape, and they all sound different. So especially if you're recording, if you're a session musician and record studio, a lot of, you know, you need to have. It's like you can't just turn up with one hammer and fit a kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have
The
to
bloke
have the
that did
tools.
my kitchen did. That's why it's so bad.
Bosh, you know. So that's why they do all these different, and the different tops. The sound is in the top. Martin's got a tone, as Diane says as well. They got a tone, and they built the guitar around it, you know. And that tone's been there for 180 years. So whether you pick an old, you know, guitar up from the late 1800s or something, they'll still sound like a Martin, which is amazing. It's a bit difficult to understand, you know. Yeah.
I've really enjoyed this little session. I think what we should do as well before we sign out is just have one final.
Yeah, we should have a little
jam.
Pause there. Oh.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, look, I've been the captain. I hope you enjoyed this little documentary on Authentic. Yes.
Yeah. Come and try them out. You should really come and try them out. And just, they are amazing guitars.
Just so you know, when you're next in Andertons, the really posh stuff, this kind of stuff, we keep cased at the store, and there are pictures of them up in the guitar department, but you have to kind of make an appointment or at least ask to try one, so that you know by the time these do find a home, they haven't been played by too many people, I hope. So don't, you know, when you come into Andertons, just speak to one of the guitar guys and say, look, you know, you can see what we've got on the website, so you can just ask to try them.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are a joy.
Stunning.
I've had a great time.
Yeah.
Hope you've enjoyed this too. And that's it. See you later.
See ya.